am reacting to your wrestling hot takes. I do these videos once a week, so if you want to be part of next week's hot takes video, make sure that you're following me on X. I ask for your hot takes there every single Thursday. As always, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications if you're a wrestling fan. I know you're gonna like this channel because we upload daily wrestling content. Also, I bit my tongue the other day, so I'm sorry if I end up like slurring my words. But let's read some stupid shit. Dragon Lee has the potential to be the greatest mass luchador in WWE. Yes, that would mean passing Rey Mysterio all time. With the right creative and the right programs, it could happen. The crowd already loves him too. So in terms of look, Dragon Lee is it. Like, he's got it all. Not only is he fantastic in the ring as a luchador and has that marketability to children, but he's also like a big beefy dude that allows him to be a legitimate threat, not just in like cruiserweight scenarios, and he doesn't always have to be this underdog like Rey Mysterio was always billed to be. He could be a legitimate threat on the main roster. The only problem, and as a Latino, I have to point this out, his English is rough. Whenever he actually gets the opportunity to cut a promo, it leaves a lot to be desired. Now, right now, his promos are very basic and very simple, and that's okay. I think that's a really great way to build him up to giving him better narratives with deeper, more complex storylines, but until they can do that, they're not gonna break the ceiling with Dragon Lee. Jinder Mahal should beat Seth for the title on Monday, even if it's just for Damian Priest to cash in. Why did I have a feeling that we were gonna be getting a couple of Jinder Mahal related hot takes? No, he should not be defeating Seth Rollins. Look, I don't hate the idea that it's because of Jinder Mahal that Seth Rollins ends up losing the World Heavyweight Championship. It's just, in my opinion, look, I love Jinder Mahal. I'm not going to sit here and hinder Jinder, but just because he became an overnight sensation because of Tony Khan doesn't mean we should all of a sudden be putting a title on him, even if it is just for 1 second. The problem is that World Heavyweight title is so new that the lineage of it is really important. And if you're already going to muddy it with a 30-second long reign by a Jinder Mahal, I think that's going to be problematic for the people that come afterwards, like Damian Priest. I think we got to keep this championship line pure for main eventers. So go from Seth right to Damian Priest. We don't need Jinder in the middle. I'm sorry if you think that I'm hindering Jinder. You know, I love me some Jinder, but I can't get behind this, even though this is you know, he's the internet darling, but I don't want to put another strap on him. I was there in 2017, and we don't want to go through that again. The 2002-2005 WWE Championship Undisputed belt was ugly. Seemed like a tag team championship. It's so overrated. No, first of all, this championship is absolutely beautiful, and to me, the last time that a championship belt actually had like character and design. I still think that the Attitude Era Winged Eagle belt is prettier, but I like this belt. It's so pristine looking, and it looks so good around the waist of like those like really legitimate main event top guys like The Rock, like Brock Lesnar, Undertaker, as well as somebody like Kurt Angle. To me, this is the last serious WWE Championship belt ever. The Ruthless Aggression Era is greater than the Attitude Era. Better overall talent pool, generally better matches, all while still keeping the same edgy content that made the Attitude Era so great. Look, I'm not going to sit here and say that I think that the Ruthless Aggression Era is better than the Attitude Era, because I do disagree. I think that the Attitude Era is better. However, the Ruthless Aggression Era had something that makes it really unique, and to me makes it a darling in terms of an era of professional wrestling, in that it didn't have a top babyface for a really long time. So it meant that the WWE was forced to get creative and try out different guys at the top as opposed to just Stone Cold and The Rock. They tried Kurt Angle, Brock Lesnar, Chris Benoit, The Undertaker. They tried Batista, John Cena, Eddie Guerrero. They got to try so many people to see what would stick, and ultimately it ended up being Cena Batista, but it was just like years of experimentation, and to me that was really exciting. Rey Mysterio is a better father and wrestler than Christian. First of all, that deadbeat holds nothing on the father of the decade that is Christian, but you know, jokes aside, Christian has been absolutely crushing it in this role, arguably the best heel in all of professional wrestling right now. That is, to me, the highlight of AEW at the moment, just the work that Christian is doing over there. He's so good. Liv Morgan is arguably a top 5 female wrestler of all time, possibly even even top 3. Look, I know that this is gonna get clipped by the Liv Morgan stands and get shared on Twitter and people are gonna call me a clown, but this is fucking ludicrous. Where did all of this love and adoration for Liv Morgan come from? Like, I get it, she is great. Top 5, top 3, that is brain dead behavior. If she's your top 3 favorite, your top 5 favorite, sure. But objectively, dude, there are so many people ahead of Liv Morgan when it comes to being a great professional wrestler. Again, she's great. She can have main event programs, but how is she held to this high of an esteem? I will never understand that. Jinder's theme song is arguably better than a lot of the ones that we have today. Jinder's entire presentation and package is actually like pretty lit. Like when he was the world champion back in 2017, he looked real good with that championship. His whole aura and swagger, his entrance, like the dude's got some swag and the music backs it up too. Ludwig Kaiser has every ability to be a main event star right now. So I would have been of the mind that Ludwig Kaiser had the ability maybe a little bit down the line, but my God, that sequence with Kofi Kingston where he absolutely like completely decapitated basically showed this ruthlessness that made me really excited to potentially see Ludwig Kaiser as a top heel in the WWE very, very soon. This guy's got it, man. I really think that we shouldn't be sleeping on Ludwig Kaiser. Ludwig, it may just be the entire package. Hey guys, consider checking out patreon.com/SantiZap where you're gonna get even more wrestling content than you're already getting here on this channel. You're gonna get the SmackDown review, which is already up. You're gonna get the Raw reviews, NXT reviews. You're gonna get the Wrestling is Cool podcast significantly earlier than everyone else, and you're gonna get the monthly mailbag. So go check it out, patreon.com/SantiZap to get content that you're never gonna see here on YouTube. Patreon.com/SantiZap. That's it. Back to the video. Jinder Mahal is one of the most lucky superstars on the roster to be able to get a world title shot with no build or hype or even reasons. Superstars like Rollins, Cody, Punk, Orton have always had to fight for months and months to get a title shot and then repeat this cycle. Well, you listed all baby faces there, Rollins, Cody, Punk, Orton, and the babyface should be the one that struggles to get these opportunities. Meanwhile, the heel, it makes more narrative sense for them to be able to just waltz in and get these unfair opportunities because they are the bad guy, because the story of the struggle just doesn't resonate anywhere near as well when it's on a heel than when it is on a babyface. So you are trying to compare things that just don't actually compare entirely that well. I will say, compare him to all the other heels, yes, oh my God, he gets a ridiculous amount of luck. We're getting random championship opportunity here upcoming in SmackDown and on Raw, the championship opportunity that he got in Backlash seemingly out of nowhere where he won the championship. I would say he's very lucky, but you're comparing him to the wrong people. Dolph Ziggler will have a Cody type independent run. He will fully reinvent himself and make a return to WWE for one last push. I mean, I hope so. I wish nothing but the best for Dolph Ziggler. I think he's an amazing worker. I feel like he ran his course in the WWE, and I hope he proves me entirely wrong like Cody Rhodes did. Cody Rhodes did a lot in the independent circuit, and I don't know if Dolph Ziggler can come even close to everything that Cody Rhodes was doing, but if he can, and if he can reinvent himself, then I would love to see him back into the WWE. However, Dolph Ziggler is significantly older than when Cody was, when Cody went into the independents to reinvent himself. So the clock's ticking if we want to accomplish what you're saying here. WWE needs a trios championship at this point. I feel like they have enough team/factions in order to make them work. So about like 6 months ago, I received this very same hot take and I said, no, never, pointless. I don't see why we need another set of championships in the WWE. But now, yeah, we just had Bobby Lashley's group. We just created a new group with Santos Escobar. Of course, all the existing groups like Judgment Day, the Bloodline. Heck, you can look at groups over in NXT as well if you want. They're the New Testament, or is it the Last Testament? The group of Karrion Kross, Authors of Pain. There are a lot of groups right now in the world of the WWE. So now I'm starting to change my tune, and I'm starting to think that maybe a trios championship maybe pretty good. Jimmy versus Jay could and maybe should main event WrestleMania Night 1, but WWE needs to be doing more now to hype up the potential match. I don't think so. Like last year when the Usos and Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, they got the Night 1 main event, it was because they were building up to this crazy climax for the better part of like 6 months with the storyline of Sami Uso and of course the tribal cord, all this stuff. However, they're just too late now to build something that could be so hype that Jimmy and Jay deserve a Night 1 main event. I just don't think they've got the time for it anymore. Rock versus Roman is the next Goldberg versus Taker, a big match that won't deliver. Look, I disagree for a couple of reasons. One, Goldberg is nowhere near as good as The Rock ever was as an in-ring performer. And two, Roman Reigns is in his prime and can help carry The Rock. Both Goldberg and The Undertaker were well past their prime to the point where neither of them could carry each other. Like Goldberg needs to be carried to having a good match, but you're not going to get carried by a retired guy in The Undertaker. Roman can carry The Rock to a safe, entertaining match. If AJ Lee or Sasha Banks returns at the Royal Rumble, they would probably get a bigger pop than Edge did when he returned in 2020. Look, there's no way. I love AJ Lee and Sasha, but the 2020 return of Edge after nearly a decade of being away from the WWE, a surprise that at least to me was a surprise. I didn't think that it leaked. Like, it was just so out of this world. Meanwhile, AJ Lee, Sasha Banks, like that's in the back of our heads as a possibility. Edge returning was not. As much as I want CM Punk versus Stone Cold, I think that they might be too late and the match is gonna be horrible. It might sell tickets, but that's literally it. Look, don't be surprised if it actually ends up being pretty good. Like, hey, don't forget, like give Stone Cold some credit. He came back a couple of years ago and had a WrestleMania Night 1 main event against Kevin Owens. Granted, it wasn't this spectacle, this amazing technical match that's going to be shown to people wanting to learn professional wrestling, you know, for generations, sure, but the hype is ultimately what mattered. The fact that it was a dream match that we didn't think was possible was what mattered, because ultimately Punk and Stone Cold, none of us are expecting them to have a 30-minute, you know, end of an era Hell in a Cell classic. We're just expecting an amazing buildup and just a frenzy of fans going collectively apeshit at the energy in the ring when both of those guys are staring off at each other. Kind of like The Rock and Hogan did. Rock versus Roman will be like Rock versus Hogan. It's a generational match and the stare down will be the highlight of the match, but the match itself will be very lackluster. So I purposely picked this one to go after the fact that people think that Rock versus Roman is going to be horrible, or the fact that Punk versus Stone Cold would be horrible, because no, like it doesn't need to be, again, this marvel in the ring. Like to a lot of people, The Rock versus Hogan is one of the greatest WrestleMania matches of all time. However, if you watch that match with the volume down, it is friggin' awful. It's a very bad match. However, it doesn't matter. What matters is the collective feeling of everyone that's watching at home and everyone that's watching in the audience, and the fact that people are gonna be going crazy for this. Like you said here, the stare down alone would probably feed families for generations, and I think that's what would happen with Punk and Stone Cold, as well as Rock and Roman. Batista winning the 2014 Royal Rumble was the right move. Had Bryan won, this path to WrestleMania would have been easy, and the yes movement wouldn't have been as strong. I don't think that I've read a message from somebody that's been drinking the Kool-Aid of hindsight more than you, my friend. Of course, it was not the right call to have Batista win the 2014 Royal Rumble. Of course, now, looking back on how things happened, you can say, yeah, it was the right move because everything turned out perfect. The power of hindsight is a powerful drug, my friend, but you should not be letting it cloud your judgment. You want to know why? Because had Bryan won, you said his path to WrestleMania would have been easy. It wasn't going to happen. They weren't going to have Bryan win. It was never in the cards. It was never in the books. It was always Batista, and it was always the plan to keep Daniel Bryan out. Daniel Bryan should have won that Royal Rumble if you were there in that moment in time. Batista winning made no freaking sense. we made sense afterwards when the WWE retconned themselves and realized, oh shit, we fucked up. Let's fix it so that we can somehow shoehorn Daniel Bryan in there. But it was never the plan. Daniel Bryan should have won that Royal Rumble, even if the WWE ultimately made it work. I feel like the absence of Michael Cole in the SmackDown commentary table is very notable. In some matches at SmackDown New Year's Revolution, they were being quiet when they're supposed to commentate and hype the match. So I've noticed that a lot, especially in the most recent episode of SmackDown. There are just these gaps of just dead air where Corey Graves is trying to make small talk, but Kevin Patrick, I don't know, maybe he just doesn't have the on-the-spot improv skills to match that same energy as Corey Graves, and it just leads to dead conversations that don't really go beyond, oh, what a move. SmackDown is brought to you by Progressive. Kevin Patrick does not have the range to be doing this, in my opinion. I really don't. Here's the thing. My problem with Kevin Patrick is that if there is a clothesline, he will say, oh, what a clothesline. If there is Mankind being tossed off the side of the Hell in a Cell, he'll go, oh, that was crazy. That's it. It's the same cadence for something super crazy or for a simple clothesline. He just doesn't emote. He doesn't have the personality for this. Carlito should be world champion at least once, or he could retire John Cena. No to both of these. I don't know why he would think that he should retire John Cena. They had like one feud for the United States Championship back in like 2004, 2005. Like I don't know, that doesn't have any sort of like emotional connection to have Carlito be the one to finally retire John Cena. But also Carlito just hasn't shown anything really to me that makes him a worthy world champion or a legitimate world champion. They have not done a very good job of building Carlito since his return, frankly. R-Truth is genuinely the best thing going in professional wrestling right now. Look, I think you're right. Not only do I think he's the best thing in WWE right now, he is, like you said, the best thing in all of professional wrestling. R-Truth is such a magnet. Like, you just gravitate to him. He's such a hilarious storyteller, both as a physical storyteller and of course with his like emotional range, and his comedic timeness is just so spot on. And the fact that they've matched him with a group that completely lacked any sort of like humor or any sort of emotional depth beyond we're the Judgment Day, we run Monday Night Raw. It's just this perfect juxtaposition where it's like oil and water. It shouldn't work, but it just does between R-Truth and the Judgment Day. It's too good. And I know a lot of people compare it to like the Sammy Uso stuff and the Bloodline. That's good, man. Like the Sammy Uso stuff saved the Bloodline storyline. It was starting to get boring. Maybe this is the injection of new life that Judgment Day perhaps needed. The Rock has no space in modern day WWE anymore. That's just, oh my God. So false, dude. So false, man. So many people just out of nowhere have just become Dwayne Johnson haters. It's like you don't realize that this is like one of the biggest draws ever in all of professional wrestling, and all of a sudden he's back and he takes Cody's spot, and all of a sudden he's the worst thing to come back since, you know, potentially Velveteen Dream. Like, what is going on with all this Rock hate all of a sudden? Also, what does that mean to have no space in the modern day of WWE anymore? This guy just comes back for a quick segment with Jinder Mahal and gets 171 million views. Obviously, there is a place for him. Maybe, you know, not being a full-time performer or winning championships, having 5 out of 5-star matches, but this is the motherfucking Rock, dude. Show a little bit of respect. I initially loved the idea of Logan winning the US title, but I now feel that a full-time, crowd-pleasing babyface should be the one to hold the title and make it prestigious. It should be elevated to the point where it main events SmackDown when Roman is not around. You know who you just described? You kind of just described LA Knight, which is what I've been wanting to happen for a while. I have also been a little bit disappointed with Logan Paul's reign as United States champion. The fact that he just barely is there, the fact that he's only there in like these like pre-recorded video packages. Like, I do appreciate the fact that he carries the belt everywhere, but I've been a little bit underwhelmed with him as United States champion. I really felt like he would have been making more appearances. So yeah, I am down for Logan Paul to lose this, like you said, to an established full-time crowd-pleasing babyface. Yeah, LA Knight, baby. MJF should debut in the Royal Rumble and main event WrestleMania against Cody. I only picked this one to just finally kill your dreams. Guys, MJF is not signing with the WWE anytime soon. I guarantee you. This man has re-signed with AEW. But Santi, they removed him from the AEW roster website. Who cares? Like, dude, it's code. Those are lines of code you could erase just to make you think that. Look, of course, he's still in AEW, probably for the next 3 years. They probably re-signed them months ago quietly. He just didn't tell the world. They're still running storylines. They're still saying his name on TV, for God's sake. Of course, MJF is not coming to the WWE, at least not for sure this year's Royal Rumble. Kenny Omega and Matt Cardona are great examples that wrestlers don't always need WWE to be stars. Even though WWE is still #1, there's easier ways to find work in other promotions. And this right here is the reason why having other wrestling promotions is so important. Not just to give you something else to watch whenever you're getting bored of WWE, but so that the wrestlers have other places to go whenever they get fired from the WWE or whenever they don't get accepted by the WWE, or maybe they just don't feel like the WWE is the right place for them. It's a great thing for us to not have a monopoly in the world of professional wrestling that we love. We want things to be more even across the board so that these professional wrestlers have other places where they can make a living and make a name for themselves. All right, folks, that's it. I'm done. Maybe leave a hot take or two in the comments section, but that's it. Get out of here.